Hey everyone, welcome back to Tara's Homestead. Today I want to give you guys a couple quick tips on how to help your chickens when the weather gets super hot. We are at the end of May right now and we are on our third day of over 100 degrees. It's crazy. It's very unseasonably warm, so it's been a little shock to everyone's system. One thing with chickens is they don't sweat. So they're like dogs. You're gonna see them panting. You're gonna see them holding their wings out. That's like a sign that they're hot. And it's fine. If they're panting and they're holding their wings out, it's okay. It means that they're working to cool themselves off. But you also wanna help them cool themselves off, because if it gets too hot and they don't have shade and water and some other things, they could overheat. But don't panic if you're seeing those signs. But okay, let me show you guys a few simple things you can do to help your chickens out when it gets really hot outside. Okay, so tip number one is probably pretty obvious: have shade. So my run has this huge shade over it, and I also I have this bush in here that is a baby bush right now. So it's still got a long ways to go, but I will show you the reason I planted this in here. If you're able to free range, I highly recommend letting your chickens free range on hot days. And the reason is they will do their best to find a cool area. So the reason I planted that bush in our chicken run is because this is the same bush and this is where all the chickens go when it gets hot. Let me show you. Can you see them? They're all in here. They love this bush. They love being in the shade. They love taking dust baths in there. So that's exactly why I planted one in their run. So tip number one, shade. Tip number two, fresh water every day. I normally can get away with switching the water every 3 days possibly, but when it gets this hot, they get fresh water every day. I also put electrolytes and probiotics in their water. I don't have the packaging to take a video, but I will try to put a picture across so you guys can see what I'm talking about. There is a hen booster, which is great for laying hens, and there is also a chick booster, which is great for chicks. They both have probiotics, they both have electrolytes. It just is gonna give your chickens a little extra boost that they need, especially during this kind of heat. Another thing I will say is have multiple waterers if you can. So I have one in their main coop, and then because I know this is where they like to hang out when it gets really hot, I also have another waterer over here. So that way they've got a few different waterers. So I found putting a waterer next to the area that I know they like to be in the shade definitely helps, because their other waterer is over in their run, which is where they're used to having it, but I don't want to have to make them walk all the way over there. I know it probably seems silly, but when it's 105 degrees, I want to keep them in the shade as much as I can. All right, tip number three, have a well-ventilated coop. I will admit my coop does not have the best ventilation. I've actually, when I got it, it had no windows. It was just this shed. So I actually added 2 windows to this coop since I got it. And when it's hot, I open it up so it can air out hopefully all day versus just stay in a hot box. But this is something to keep in mind when you're designing your chicken coop as well, is try to get a chicken coop that has really, really good ventilation. And I'm in the process of getting new chicken coops and they will definitely have that. But like I said, this didn't have any windows in it when I got it, and I added 2 windows and I have the door open. So I do the best I can with that. Tip number 4, freeze water jugs, soda jugs, milk jugs, anything. This one's kind of like a slushy right now. It's not all the way frozen. We used to do this when I had pet rabbits. We'd freeze them and the rabbits would lay right next to them. These I also try to keep in the same area that I know the chickens like to stay in, but it's just one other thing that a chicken can kind of lay next to and help cool them off a little bit. So I just put a few of these out, and sometimes they'll lay next to them. Sometimes they won't, but it gets the ground wet and they like that. Okay, tip number 5, probably the chicken's favorite. Give them cold or frozen fruits and vegetables. Chickens love fruits and vegetables. You can freeze them, put them in little like cupcake holders and freeze them. Not the paper ones, but like the metal pan, you know. You can cut up watermelon and freeze it. Grapes are great. Squash is great. So many different things. You can do a quick Google search of what fruits aren't good for chickens, but most of them are fine and the chickens will go crazy over it. The one thing is, so I have a watermelon here, obviously. I cut it up into a lot of pieces because there is a pecking order with chickens, and if you just cut it in like 2 different pieces, depending on how many chickens you have, it might not be enough. So I'm gonna lay these out for the ladies and you'll see how much they love them. So I'm gonna scatter these chunks a little bit. I also have multiple coops, so I like to make sure that everyone gets a piece. These are my rescues. They don't quite get free range. They get a nice big space, but not full free range. Gotta give some to the bantams. That little noise Roscoe is making is him letting the girls know he found something good. You found something good, buddy? Look at that one. Whoops, sorry, ladies. They're like, excuse me, we're trying to eat here. They've already eaten it down. Okay, a couple more pieces. The chicks are hanging out over here in the shade of the pear trees, so I want to put a couple pieces over here. Would you guys like a little bit of watermelon? You gonna eat that one in the bowl? Here. These are my 3 Cornish cross hens, or chickens. Looks like 2 are hens and 1's a rooster. These are meat birds for anyone that doesn't know, and I got them by accident. As day-old chicks, they were labeled as egg layers. Obviously not. What do you guys think of the watermelon? You gonna go for it? He is like, I'm not sure about this yet. No? All right. Well, I'm gonna leave it there because someone will eat it. Put the other ones back where the big flock hangs out. Oh. One for you, Mama. Let's see if the chicks will eat it. Here, let's try this. I think I'm a little too close to the door for her to put her head down. One last piece for the big girls. Ready for your bonus tip? The goods, grubblies, and fill up a kiddie pool. Throw some grubs in there, and all the girls will come running. Trust me. What do you guys think? My advice is, if this is the first time you're doing it, fill the water up high enough where they can just reach over the edge. And then over time you can put the water a little less and eventually they'll jump in there. But I've found the first time every year, I gotta make it really full, otherwise they're not brave enough to get in. Is that yummy? Happy girls? She's like, excuse me, can I just get some straight goods here? All right, so I hope those 5 easy steps helped you guys get through a heat wave or really hot weather. There are definitely other things you can do. Some people do misters, some people have kiddie pools. There's a whole bunch of stuff, but I just wanted to give 5 easy tips that hopefully anybody can do, and hopefully most of the stuff you have on hand. I know we weren't quite prepared for this heat wave, but all the girls are doing great, and yeah, apparently summer is here. If you guys enjoyed this video, remember to hit that thumbs up button and the subscribe button. It means so much to me, and I will catch you guys on the next video.